guys, Steph here. Now, what we've got for you are two pens that look the same. Or are they? Now, what we've got for you here, as I say, is two pens that look very, very similar, apart from the colour, obviously. But these pens come from a time when, in the days when sort of the larger pen manufacturers bought out the smaller pen manufacturers, and also the period when there was many different pen manufacturers, some that maybe some of you people have never heard of. But yeah, it was an interesting period. As I say, there was lots of different manufacturers, and lots of different manufacturers that were making, some were making pens for the major manufacturer, the big names. So they had all different kinds of sort of, yeah, you know, some companies were involved with other companies were involved with other companies, so it was a bit of a mishmash at the time. But what we've got for you here, as I say, is two pens from that particular period. Now, when I say the period, I'm dating these two pens from the 1940s. Okay, now what we've got for you, nice and simply, let's sort of look at this one first. We've got this lovely marbled mauve fountain pen. To the very top, you can see it's got this dome top to the end of the cap there, which matches the end of the barrel there. And if I could show you the barrel imprint, now unfortunately on this one it's a little bit worn, although in, well, sort of close up you can actually read it. But what it reads, nice and simple, this one says Eversharp, made in England. So what we've got is an Eversharp fountain pen, as I said, made in England. You can see it's a lever fill fountain pen there. If we take you up to the cap, you can see, look at the cap band there, lovely indeed, very nice indeed. Both of these pens have the same sort of decorated pierced cap bands, as you can see there. And if you look at the clip there, for you people in the know that sort of know about these pens, it's got the very recognisable, what we term as a stepped clip. Okay, there's a sideways view. Okay, now if we pop that one down and bring on this brown marbled fountain pen, there you go. Again, we've got this domed top to the cap there, matching down at the bottom there. It's also a lever fill fountain pen, as you can see there. Now if we show you the barrel imprint on this one, which is a little bit clearer, okay, you can see there, nice and simple, this one says Kingswood, British made. Okay, so it's a Kingswood, British made. Again, if we take you to the top, again this gorgeous decorated pierced cap band, and once again we've got this sort of stepped, sort of little bit sort of art deco clip to the very top there, in lovely condition. Now the size of this pen is slightly longer. This one's 130 millimeters capped. This one, the Eversharp, is 127 millimeters capped, and both of them are 12 millimeters in diameter on the barrel. So once again, you can see the look, apart from the colour, the pens look pretty well identical. Okay, so as I said a little bit earlier, we've got a situation here where we've got a Kingswood fountain pen and a Eversharp fountain pen. Now Kingswood, yes, they were sort of affiliated somehow with Eversharp. So we've got the Kingswood affiliated with the company Eversharp. At some point, I believe, Eversharp were purchased by Parker, or they had some sort of a connection. And at the end of the day, I believe maybe these pens were made by the Valentine Pen Company, who again had a manufacturing place, if you like, within the Parker New Haven factory. So at the end of the day, they all come back to the Parker Pen Company at New Haven. So once again, a little bit sort of maybe confusing, you know, who made that, who made this, but at the end of the day, Kingswood, Eversharp, Valentine Company and Parker all had an association with these pens. Okay, absolutely gorgeous. So as I said, the same pen but slightly different. Now why are they slightly different? As you've seen from the outside, they both look identical, both lever pens, but the difference basically becomes sort of visible if we take the cap off. There we go. Let's give the pen a couple of the customary twirls. They've both been fully restored, both in full working order, new sacks, etc., in beautiful condition. So with this one, the Eversharp fountain pen, you can see it has a slight step where the barrel ends there, so the cap sits flush with the barrel. And if you look at the section there, okay, we've got what we term as a hooded nib. Now this particular pen was made, and it was made to sort of compete with other pen manufacturers who were selling pens with hooded nibs, i.e. Parker 51s. So this is where they actually jumped on the bandwagon and decided to make their versions of a hooded nib. Now you can't see it because it's mainly inside, but the nib on this particular pen has the imprint that reads Eversharp 14 karat Osmi Iridium. So it's an Eversharp nib. Okay, so we've got the hooded nib version, and if we go to the brown one, unscrew the cap, there we go, show you a couple of the customary twirls. And with this particular pen, you can see it's sort of what I term as a more standard pen. It's got the section with this sort of ridge towards the nib, and if we show you the nib, keep it nice and still for you, this one also reads Eversharp 14 karat Osmi Iridium. So whereas before, okay, you can see the feed there, everything nice and clean. Both pens have been fully disassembled and totally clean. So as we saw here, this particular pen has the hooded nib. On this one we have what we term as the open nib. Now both of these pens are available, so rather than actually fill them, I'm going to leave that to whoever the new owners will be. So let's just do a writing sample, and we'll do it by sort of dipping in the ink. So on this particular case we've got a Kingswood fountain pen, and this one is British made. As we said, I'm dating both pens from around about the 1940s. Writing very nicely indeed. There's no flex to the nib. It's pretty well a standard nib, and I'm saying it writing with, I would say, a medium a medium line, but a smooth writer. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll clean that after the video, get it ready for a new owner. And then if we take a look at this particular pen here and dip it in the ink, I have to be a little bit careful on this one with it being a hooded nib. I don't want to get ink on my fingers, but on this particular case what we've got is, in fact I can just see it beginning to blob a bit, so let's just give it a wipe. So in this case we have an Eversharp, and this one made in England, 1940s. This one actually has a little bit of a stub nib, so there we go. If I put a little bit of pressure on, let's just give it another little dip. It's just run out, but this one has quite an interesting nib. Okay, so if we put pressure on the downward stroke, there we go. I mean, the reason it's skipping there because, as I say, it's got this open nib and it's not picking up too much ink, obviously. But let's show you the so the Kingswood, writing with a medium line, quite a standard line. This one has a little bit of, yeah, I'd say a bit of a stub nib, and it has some line variation, a little bit of flex in the nib as well, which is very interesting indeed. So let's get the cap, pop the cap back on, and there we have it. So as we said earlier, two pens that look the same but they're slightly different, made in all intents and purposes by the same people, and them people being Kingswood or Eversharp or Parker at the Valentine Pen Company at New Haven. But both pens absolutely gorgeous, in great condition, have been fully serviced, very attractive in my opinion, gorgeous pens. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed looking at the pens, as always, as much as I enjoyed showing them to you people. Don't forget, leave a comment down below, just below as well, give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. But from me and these two gorgeous pens, I'm just going to say Slava Ukraini, and from me I'm just going to say bye bye for now.